everybody, and welcome back here on the ChainLog YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about an argument that I love to talk about, and that is the fact that lately the sentiment shifted bearish, but I still think that the not for the short term, but in the microstructure, what's coming up with the weekly and daily price action is still bullish until we break below 25k. So for me, it's still the seed of a new bull market, and I will talk today why I think that. But more than this alone, I will take in consideration also the macro, the news, coming into technical analysis, on-chain analysis, and derivatives data, and to assess that we are still in that kind of bullish structure, and to see with my eyes, you'll see with my eyes that we are going, in my opinion, we are going to get higher in the coming months. So let's start from the macro side of things, talking about the FOMC that raised interest rates lately by just a 25 bps. So it's priced in at this point that we'll have 500 to 525. So the probability is that we have this rate hike of 25 bps, that is the last one, are high, and then from let's say from September, we have probabilities that they stop, and it's priced in that from the end of 2023 to the new year, they will start easing again into a new easing cycle, and that's why we are approaching these dates. We are going there, and in fact, you see that risk on assets like Bitcoin react to that, making so we have one point to see to say that we are bullish in this case for what's happening. Not only that, there is the fact that the banks collapsed lately. Major central banks like the Silicon Valley and so on, they collapsed, and it could even be that this is a move from other banks to make gigantic aggregate of banking corporations to buy their assets and so on. But staying on data, what we know is that and the people knows that if the fiat system is failing, the alternative is Bitcoin. So the narrative in this case is driving the price up lately. Not only that, in fact, but the news that the China is trying to and will open the for the cryptocurrencies market to make Hong Kong people to buy this asset. That's actually really good for the narrative itself. Maybe it will not impact the price so much, but still it's good for the narrative. In fact, I think that this kind of news must be in trade to the downside first, and then we get up, because obviously we buy the rumors, we sell the news, and then we get up for the effect of the news. Okay, so every bull news has this effect more or less, in the bearish in the same and inverse direction. As of right now, more than the news and so on that helps the price get up from the very bottom, we have the fact that on a short-term side, obviously taking shorts right here will be good, even if I don't recommend anyone to do something like this. And but at these price levels right here, and as you see right now, we were yesterday here, I just got the first entry at 26,723. That's actually good for me and for you if you followed me there, and there are more entries right here in this chart and TPs, so get what you want, but are of yesterday. So if they don't reconcile on what you see on the chart, that's why. So you see right here, this is a falling wedge more or less. Let's say that's a bull flag anyway, and it's really fast going downstairs. So from a 4-hour chart, this is a short-term trade, and obviously you can see here that we had in comparison to this is a lower low, and we have a lower high. So we got to another lower low. So the structure is actually bearish on the 4-hour chart, but the pattern is bullish. And even on the short term, until we break below the 25k, in my opinion, we are still good. Why? Because on technical analysis, if we are still above the 200 EMA on the daily chart, and also on the weekly chart right here, okay, and we are bouncing back above the 200 SMA here and the 50 EMA on the monthly chart, staying also above the 25 EMA and the 200. In general, we are still in a bullish momentum to the upside, and we can say that this will support the price if not a black swan event will not go through. On the monthly instead, right here, we are bouncing above the 12 EMA, but we got below the 26. So actually, we have right here the 50s EMA and SMA that will support the price at the same more or less level, 25k, 24, and so on. So 25k is actually good for the price to stay up and well above that level. So if I were you, and if you were my brothers, I will say to you not to sell right now, to buy lower, because probably will not go there. Even if we stay right here another month, in the coming month will go up, and probably to the 33k, or that's why in this case I say 33k as the first resistance, because as you see right here on a monthly chart, that is the point where the majority of supports are found. So and resistance are found, but also on the weekly chart you see yourself that here we have a lot of support being built upon the bull market. So this is for the technical analysis side of things anyway, but this is not only that we should take in consideration. We should take in consideration also the short-term order realized price, so the cost basis on chain for the asset, for the hodlers that have modeled this asset for less than 5 months. And as you see right here, it's important that we are above that, because every time we got up from a bear market, staying below, like here, every time we got above and we found support right there, using it as a support, we found a way up to a new bull market every single time. So this time will be no different probably, even though we're still above, we're still hanging out there until we break down from there. There is no reason to tell we are actually shifting bearish, okay, in the long run. Neither, and I would say that again, we should think of anything more watching the realized price in general, because the only realized price that is below 25k is the less than 1 year realized price in aggregate for the hodlers, but all the other realized price are 25k in this case for the for the less than 6 months, that are more or less the short-term holder, but the short-term holder are less than 5 months, so 25, 26 at this point in time, and more. There are at resistance we have the less than 2 years at 29.43. We have to break that through to get above and to 33k, but we are here hanging out on a lot of support between this realized price and other supports can be found right here on the chart, at the same levels, more or less, that we are hanging out. Let me get out the majority of this thing right here. We are hanging out a 1 to 3 month following, and we have this support and these resistances right here. Let's get out the majority of them, so we don't need them. We have this support that we are still right now on there, but I don't think it will react. This is a linear chart anyway, and here a little bit back above we have the 2 to 3 years, 36.8k, that on a macro scale, if we get to the possible 36k, is more or less the 0.5 Fibonacci level, 36.8, that will change slowly to the downside, obviously, because the price is still lower than that, and 36k is more or less where I think we could see another resistance to the upside. And below we have the 22.5k on 3 month to 140, so it's still short term. These are isolated H bands, so we're taking into account from a certain date to another date the cost basis on chain for these categories of hodlers. But still, we are not below the 25k, as I already said, and all the confluence points there, not only for the short-term realized price and so on, but also for the fact that, and we'll go through here, we are still bullish also for the fact that ASOPR, that is the spent output profit ratio adjusted for the supply, that has less than 1 hour. So let's take into account all the transaction that has more than 1 hour, in this case, because they are so short-term outlet that are more or less just hyper speculators, and their transaction doesn't respect the true value of the price. That's more or less why we take that out, and it's the 40% of the noise we have on the normal super graph. So this is the more accurate version, actually, of the SOPR, the profitability. We are still back above 1, so up above that, and we are testing the 1 at support every time, and so people, essentially what it is that 1 is the break-even point for all the market participants that have hodled more than 1 hour, and more than 1 is actually the level that if they sold, they would have realized profit below 1 realized losses. But in this case are unrealized profits and unrealized loss. If they sold, this chart replied to the question, if people in the aggregate sell right now, what level of profitability would they have? And in this case, for example, 1.17 on the 7th of May, we will have that. We are testing the 1 support that said that we arrive at a certain amount of unrealized profit. We take profit, so we get this profit into our wallet, realizing it, and so the unrealized profit backs below 1, and we retest the support here at the cost basis, so where we got the entries, more or less, in the aggregate, our cost basis, and we re-enter at cost basis to sell higher. So still the behavior on chain reflects the fact that people is still entering at their cost basis to exit again lately to find a major level of profitability. And the same goes for the net realized profit and loss. In fact, we see that still lately we have this amount of realized profit in comparison to the realized loss levels. That means that in general, if you take into account what happened before, and we take into account every cycle we can compare with this, you see that meanwhile we are in a bear market. We have a lot of realized loss, these yellow candles, And meanwhile we shift into a bull market rally like this. Then this is one case alone, isolated, because there was the COVID crash, so there was a black swan event that got us into a longer way to the top. But in this case, again, we started having a good price action, even though if we needed month still to get above this 10k, 11k, we still had bullish momentum to the upside. And the same goes right here, and the same went when we got above from the COVID crash. We were gaining momentum, and then we got into a new bull market. The same behavior shift as seen, is being seen right here. More, we have this percent supply in profit that took the level of less than 50% here, and every time it happened, what followed was a bull market. And still, we are not even overheated from the level of supply that's in profit right now. So I don't think we are at a very local top, or at a very local or neither macro top to get to the downside again, if not for a black swan, as I already said, like it did on the COVID crash. And all points to the fact that we are still in a good way, in a good shape to get to the upside. More in the short term, looking to the futures open interest on CoinGlass to expect something like a short squeeze or a long squeeze. We see that open interest is not at the highest level possible, like in a bull market, but still it's growing from the bottom, like it was right here when we saw a little, let's say, a seed of a bear market right here. We got a huge dump in open interest, and we did the same right here on the very bottom. We had a huge dump in open interest to the very lows, and now we are regaining momentum to the upside, where we can see more interest on the futures as well for Bitcoin. And still, we are not at levels where we should be worried about a possible cascade event onto the upside or to the downside, but it's still something to consider when analyzing all the aspect of the market. And in the shorter term, the very shortest term, right here we see that we don't have that much of liquidations, but still we move the majority of the movements that happens when we had for a drawback was for long squeezes, and the majority happened when the longs got above the shorts. So when we got longs above shorts, okay, so you see right here, this is Bitcoin long short ratio chart from CoinGlass. The black line is the USD value of the long shorts ratio, and every time we got more longs than shorts, then longs have been liquidated, and the price got so down. And in every time we got shorts in majority against longs, like for example right here on the 30th of May, we had like 53% shorts and 46% long. In this case, shorts were liquidated, and we got a little bit back up. Okay, so this is the actual movement of the price in comparison to the long and to the shorts. And right now we are more or less at the same level. We have 50%. So they will not today, at very least, this will not coincide with probably a new short squeeze or a long squeeze to the downside, not in the nearest term. Okay, yesterday longs was 25 at 10 o'clock yesterday. It was 54, and then they got liquidated and so on. So this is more or less what I see. Let's, if we get, for example, the 24-hour chart to have a more comprehensive event, Here, for example, was 30th of May, as already said, at 2 o'clock, 52%. 30th of May, let's get to the chart itself on the daily. 30th of May, we got more longs that got liquidated to the downside and so on. So as you see, every single time. So you can watch also this if you want to trade, but still, in the last day on a macro scale, in the last day we have more or less the same levels of longs and shorts. So in the nearest term, there isn't really much to worry about. What I see in the future is this shining broadening wedge pattern to the upside that can break below, but first I see it coming to 36k level, then maybe got to retest the lowest level here, then a little bit up again, then again low. So we need months and months. Also on the monthly chart I see something like this. We get one month again to touch this line, then we got back up, then we stay right here, we got here a little bit, and then and we need at least 1 year, as for me, in my opinion, to get to these levels right here. So 36 to 42k, or anyway, let's say more than 40k in general. So this is why I am bullish at the moment in general, watching on chain, technical analysis, macro news, derivatives data, and so on. If you have any question, obviously I'm here. If you want to share your opinion, I'm here to talk about it. But actually, I see this in the market, and I wanted to share it with you today. You can obviously follow me and subscribe on this channel to know more, to stay up to date. Click the notification bells to stay up to date for every video, and so on. And you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Telegram, where I have my socials anyway in the description. And you can also take, if you want actually, but you can talk to me wherever you want for free. You can actually talk also an on-chain course or a technical analysis course from my site, ChainLog.info. If you want to, if you want to give me a tip, and in the same time you getting knowledge back. So because $150, $70, that doesn't make me rich really. I will thank you anyway. So this is it for today, guys and girls, and I wish you the best things in life as always, that are money, health, and love, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.